Have you ever felt that touch that makes your whole body shiver and leaves your mind suspended for a second? Imagine having the power to provoke that sensation whenever you want. Today, we're going to explore the secrets behind touches that can turn ordinary moments into unforgettable experiences. It's not just instinct, it's an art. The great masters of pleasure understand that each body is unique and that reading the other person's reactions is essential. Knowing how to vary between softness and intensity is like dancing to perfect music. You need rhythm and harmony. And the most interesting thing? With every touch, you're communicating without needing words. Get ready, because in this video, we're going to reveal techniques, lesser-known erogenous zones, and creative ways of exploring pleasure. By the end, you'll realize that your hands can be much more than ordinary tools. They can be the key to an unforgettable connection. Exploring the erogenous zones, touches that awaken pleasure. When it comes to pleasure, knowing your erogenous zones well is fundamental. The neck, for example, is an area that many people underestimate. A gentle touch to this area can provoke goosebumps and arouse intense sensations. The ears are also very sensitive, and a light blow or kiss can be extremely arousing. The key is exploration. Each body is unique and can react in different ways. The breasts are often one of the best-known areas for stimulation. Delicate caresses, gentle pinching, and even circular touches can be used to intensify the experience. The same attention should be paid to the abdomen, which can be a forgotten erogenous zone, but which, when touched with affection, can generate pleasure. And we mustn't forget the inner thighs, an area that provokes a mixture of expectation and excitement, perfect for creating a special atmosphere. Each of these areas requires a specific type of touch. For example, while a firmer touch might be ideal for the breasts, long, gentle caresses might work better on the neck. It's important to pay attention to the other person's reactions, adjusting the intensity and type of touch to what feels most pleasurable. This connection is what makes the experience even more interesting. Also, don't be afraid to explore. Use your hands to discover what causes pleasure, but remember that communication is essential. Ask, listen, and observe. What works for one person may not work for another, so exploring together can be an incredible adventure. Practice makes perfect. As you become more familiar with your partner's erogenous zones, trust and intimacy will grow. And with that, the experience becomes increasingly intense and satisfying for both of you. Alternating touches, the secret to keeping arousal high. Now let's talk about how variation in touch can turn an ordinary experience into something memorable. Alternating between different types of touch is a powerful technique. For example, you can start with a light touch, almost like a feather, and then intensify to a firmer touch. This change creates a dynamic that intensifies arousal and maintains attention. Another interesting strategy is to play with speed. A quick touch can increase the adrenaline rush, while a slow touch can prolong the pleasure. This alternation not only keeps the experience fresh, but also allows you to discover what pleases your partner the most. Sometimes a quick touch followed by a pause can heighten the anticipation and make the moment even more exciting. Textures and temperatures can also be explored to create new sensations. Use your palms, fingers, or even objects like feathers or fabrics. This can add a new layer of pleasure. The sensation of something cold or hot on the skin can be surprising and pleasurable, causing the body to react intensely. In addition, communication remains essential. Ask your partner how they feel about each change in touch. This not only helps to adjust the experience in real time, but also makes the moment more intimate and connected. The exchange of sensations and feedback is part of the pleasure. Finally, don't be afraid to be creative. Variation in touch can become a fun game between partners. Experimenting with new techniques and seeing the other person's reaction can be a source of joy and discovery. Above all, remember that pleasure is always a shared experience. How the perfect rhythm and pressure increase pleasure. The modulation of rhythm and pressure can make all the difference to the experience of pleasure. When it comes to rhythm, it's like dancing. Each movement has its own tempo, and this can create a unique atmosphere. For example, a faster touch can provoke a sense of urgency, while a slower pace can increase anticipation and tension. This variation is essential to intensify excitement and maintain interest. Think about how a song has different tempos and beats. At one moment, a fast beat can get your heart racing, while a gentle melody can calm you down. Similarly, when playing, alternating between fast and slow rhythms can create a roller coaster of sensations. This helps to build a sensory narrative, where each touch tells a part of the pleasure story. Pressure also plays a key role. A light touch can be incredibly delicate and provoke goosebumps, while a firmer touch can be more intense and provocative. The key is knowing when to use each of these elements. For example, starting with a gentle touch and gradually increasing the pressure can lead to a much more satisfying climax. Creating specific rhythm patterns, such as a quick touch followed by a moment's pause, can create an expectation that leaves the other person yearning for more. This anticipation is an important part of the experience, as the anticipation can be just as pleasurable as the touch itself. By experimenting with different combinations of rhythm and pressure, you can discover what pleases you most. So it's always good to remember that each person is unique. What works for one may not work for another, and that's part of the beauty of exploration. Observing reactions and adjusting the pace and pressure during the experience can turn a good time into something truly memorable. Soft touch and control, the key to deep intimacy. Gentle touch plays a crucial role in building intimacy and emotional connection between people. When someone touches gently, they convey affection, care, and respect. These feelings are fundamental to creating a safe environment where you both feel comfortable exploring pleasure. A gentle touch can calm and relax, allowing the other person to surrender to the experience. In addition, control during stimulation is essential to ensure that everything flows smoothly. Maintaining a controlled rhythm and adequate pressure can prevent discomfort and ensure that the experience is pleasurable. It's important for the person touching to be attentive to the other person's reactions, adjusting the intensity and style as necessary. This not only enhances the experience, but also demonstrates attention and concern. A simple technique for maintaining control is to start slowly and gradually increase the intensity, always observing reactions. This way, you can tell when the other person is enjoying what's going on and when it's time to change the approach. This constant reading is fundamental to creating an intimate and satisfying moment. In addition, gentle touch can help deepen the emotional connection. It allows people to feel closer, creating a space where vulnerability is welcome. When a touch is gentle, it can convey messages that words can't always express. This nonverbal communication is an important part of intimacy. Finally, remembering the importance of gentle touch and control can transform a physical act into a rich and meaningful emotional experience. The connection that forms through touch can be one of the most beautiful aspects of intimacy, and every moment dedicated to it is precious. Deciphering signals, how reading reactions enhances pleasure. Observing and interpreting your partner's reactions during intimate moments is an essential skill for improving the experience for both of you. Each body reacts in a unique way to different types of touch and stimuli. Therefore, paying attention to nonverbal signals such as breathing, body movements, and facial expressions can provide valuable information about what is working. For example, a deep sigh can indicate pleasure, while a recoiling movement can suggest that it's time to adjust the approach. In addition to bodily reactions, verbal communication is also key. A simple "that's good" or "keep it up" can guide your partner, helping to keep you in tune. Creating an environment where you both feel comfortable expressing your preferences is crucial. This can be done through open questions that encourage discussions such as, "What would you like me to do now?" or "How do you feel about that?" It is important to remember that communication should not only take place at the beginning of the experience, but should be a constant practice. As the situation develops, preferences may change. That's why maintaining an open dialogue during the act is essential to ensure that you're both having a good time. If something isn't working, it's better to be honest and adjust immediately than wait until the experience is over. In addition, it's interesting to note that reading reactions isn't just limited to pleasure. In some cases, there may be signs of discomfort or hesitation. Recognizing these signs and approaching them sensitively can help build a stronger connection and ensure that the experience is a positive one for both of you. Empathy is a powerful tool in this context. Understanding the partner and their needs is a path to deeper intimacy. Finally, feedback should be seen as a learning tool. After the experience, it's worth talking about what worked well and what could be improved. This not only helps to improve future interactions, but also strengthens communication and the bond between partners. By committing to listening and learning from each other, you can both explore new dimensions of pleasure together. Tips for creating communication that increases connection. In order for communication to be effective during intimate moments, some strategies can be used. One simple approach is to create a welcoming and relaxing environment. Soft music, pleasant lighting and a comfortable space can help relieve tension and open the door to more frank conversations. When partners feel safe, they are more likely to share what they really think and feel. Another strategy is to introduce safety words or signals that can be used during the activity. This can help ensure that both partners feel comfortable expressing what they want, without fear of interrupting the flow of the experience. For example, if one partner uses a specific word to indicate that they want to lower the intensity, this can facilitate communication and avoid misunderstandings. In addition, the use of simple, direct questions can help guide communication. Phrases like, "Do you like that?" or "What turns you on the most?" can open the door to deeper discussions about preferences and desires. These questions not only help you understand your partner better, but also demonstrate interest and concern for their pleasure. Practicing active listening is another way to encourage communication. This means really paying attention to what your partner is saying and responding in a way that shows you are engaged in the conversation. A simple confirmation such as a nod or a smile can make a big difference. Active listening helps to create a safe space for both of you to express yourself freely. Finally, it is essential that communication is not limited to the act itself. Conversations about preferences and desires can and should take place in relaxed moments, away from the pressure of the intimate moment. This helps to build a solid foundation of trust and empathy, allowing both of you to feel more comfortable expressing your emotions and needs when it comes to intimacy. Adapt and surprise. The secret of personalized pleasure. The ability to adapt to your partner's reactions in real time is a valuable skill that can elevate the intimate experience. This involves paying attention not only to words, but also to your partner's body. If a gentle touch seems to be bringing more pleasure, perhaps it's time to intensify it or maintain that rhythm. Flexibility is key. What works in one moment may not work in the same way in another. An important aspect of this adaptation is the willingness to experiment. If something isn't being well received, it's crucial to change the approach. This can include changing the pressure, the speed, or even changing the area of the body to be stimulated. Willingness to explore new options can be a fun way to find out what really pleases your partner. Another technique involves introducing variations during the experience. For example, if a pattern of touch is being well received, modulating that pattern can intensify the pleasure even more. Alternating between softer touches and moments of more intense pressure can create a roller coaster of sensations that keeps arousal high. What's more, adaptation isn't just about physical touch. Verbal communication should also be adjusted as necessary. If you notice that your partner is hesitant or less involved, it may be time to ask directly what can be changed. This kind of interaction creates a collaborative environment where both partners feel part of the experience. Finally, real-time adaptation is a dance in which both partners must be willing to move together. This means being in tune with each other's needs and desires, adjusting as necessary to ensure that the experience is pleasurable and satisfying for both. Most importantly, this flexibility contributes to a climate of trust and complicity, essential elements for moments of intimacy. Building intimacy, how every touch strengthens the connection. Gentle touch and attention to reactions are fundamental elements in building intimacy. When partners dedicate themselves to exploring each other's bodies in a gentle way, this not only generates physical pleasure but also strengthens the emotional connection. This kind of touch is often more meaningful than quick or intense movements, as it allows both to feel seen and valued. Building intimacy involves time and patience. Each gentle caress, each shared breath, contributes to a feeling of closeness. It is in this space of vulnerability that partners can open up and share not only their desires, but also their insecurities. This exchange creates an environment where intimacy can flourish, leading to a deeper and more meaningful experience. The practice of gentle touches can also make room for moments of discovery. By exploring your partner's erogenous zones and sensitive spots, you can find new forms of pleasure that you may not have experienced before. This not only enriches the sexual experience, but also solidifies trust between partners, as each feels free to explore and be explored. In addition, control during stimulation is crucial. Maintaining a gentle and deliberate touch allows the partner to feel each movement more intensely. This attention to detail is what can turn a simple moment into something memorable. The ability to control the intensity and rhythm of the touch also demonstrates respect for your partner's needs, something that is fundamental to building lasting intimacy. Finally, intimacy is not limited to moments of physical pleasure. It extends to open and honest communication. Talking about what each person likes, what turns them on, and what can be improved is fundamental to strengthening the emotional bond. This exchange not only enriches the sexual experience, but also helps to solidify the relationship as a whole, creating a safe space for both of you to be authentic and vulnerable. Now that you know some of the master techniques for bringing pleasure with your hands, it's time to explore this universe even further. Imagine how incredible it can be to apply all this in practice. How about starting to observe your partner's reactions? Every moan, every quick breath can tell you a lot about what she really likes. Remember, communication is key. Ask her what she prefers and be open to feedback. This not only builds trust, but also intensifies the connection between you. And don't forget the importance of variation. Experiment with different rhythms and pressures. A slight change can completely transform the experience. And to make it even more engaging, how about adding a touch of creativity? Use elements such as temperature or even little surprises to spice up the moment even more. Every detail counts. Now that you know the secrets of the masters, it's time to put them into practice and explore every sensation. Remember, pleasure is a journey that is built on patience, attention, and communication. Don't be afraid to ask, to listen, and to experiment with variations. Every touch is an opportunity to discover what makes your heart race and your breathing stop. Most importantly, have fun in the process because each experience is unique and deserves to be appreciated. Which technique caught your attention the most? Share it in the comments and tell us about your experiences. We want to know what worked for you. And if you enjoyed this content, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next secrets we have to reveal. Until then, keep exploring, because the best thing about pleasure is that it never ends.